over here. And we have the pleasure for the second time having Brandon from the Pull-Up Experience. We had a little technical difficulty last time. He was here doing our grand opening, and we did a great interview.
It was dope.
Dope interview, and then we run it back, and there is no audio. So I don't know what happened, but we here for round 2. And let's just toast it up. Here's to the audio working. Here's to just learning and about this podcast because we got the pro in the building.
I wouldn't even say pro. I'm still learning. I said this is fancy though. We got to do fancy drinks. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. What's up?
You didn't even drink it. You gotta drink and
You're right.
You gotta make eye contact because if not, it's 7 years of bad sex. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah,
I really gotta make sure I sit straight.
Look at now.
Man, I'm sorry.
Okay, so we have Brandon here from the Pull-Up Experience, and we had the pleasure of coming to one of your events. So it was kind of like a speed dating for businesses and for entrepreneurs, and that was really good. I'm like, okay, that's kind of catchy. So, and
speed networking.
Speed networking, that's what it was.
Yeah, but the concept did come from speed dating. So
From speed dating.
Yeah.
I had some speed dating stuff. We're not even gonna get on that. But anyway, it was really good. And just tell us a little bit about your process, how you got into, doing events here in Cleveland, your podcast. Just tell us a little bit about that. Give us a quick rundown.
That's funny. You want the real story? I'll give y'all exclusive. So after getting divorced, I later said to myself, I gotta put the energy in the right place, right? And at that time, I've been listening to a couple podcasts, and I'm like, man, I want to do something, but how do I go about doing it? So I started watching Earn Your Leisure, Social Proof, so many different podcasts. I'm like, man, why are there not one inside Cleveland like that showcases different people doing the dope thing? Because I know a lot of dope people, and finding a lot of guests for a podcast. Literally looked at my phone like, oh, they doing great things. I'm like, well, there's no one showcasing those things, and that's literally where the Pull-Up came through. And the name as a whole, like we literally said we want to be able to pull people up, but then we want to pull up to where you're at also. That's literally the concept of that. So it's a double entendre type of ordeal. But yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I took a bad situation, or not a bad situation, I took a bad time in my life and put the energy somewhere else.
Okay, definitely.
Yeah.
So, what was your background before you started getting into podcasting?
So I'm a real estate agent by trade, right? And so what's so funny is that I'm actually very introverted. Like I'm not very very outgoing and whatnot. But the podcast lets me control the environment per se. So it allows me to be able to talk to people in a controlled environment and be able to ask them questions. And by the way, guys, podcasting to me is like going to college for free. You get to ask people questions that you normally wouldn't do in another setting.
You're learning.
You're learning. Absolutely. It's like a life hack, by the way. But yeah, real estate agent by trade, and I'm able to take my skill set of asking certain questions to my clients about homes and be able to transfer it over to the podcast and so on. So
definitely. So what was your first podcast that you ever did, and how did that go?
That's funny. It was a disaster.
I bet.
So the first run, just like y'all, we didn't have the audio. The camera was up on the ceiling. We didn't get a chance to, no one knew who we were interviewing. It was like a mystery type word deal. We had the back of their head. It was crazy. Second interview, we actually had one of my close friends, Miss Nova Hill. She actually did our first official interview. And then once again, the what's the thing? The stand literally collapsed mid-interview. So when y'all talk about y'all doing great, because I got some work.
We trying.
Yeah, but it was good. But if I can tell anybody is that don't let those things deter you. Keep going because you'll get better with time.
Right.
Yeah.
So you always learned something as you grew.
Oh yes. I never let, what I'm saying? I try not to let, I try not to let anything deter me from the goal. The goal is to showcase people, encourage our audience, enlighten people on what's possible. So that's the goal. And then I'll keep my mind on that. The little things, they're not gonna deter me. So it works in my favor.
Yeah. So here at Creative Space, we're all about, building and, networking together. So tell me the importance of having a strong dynamic as far as teamwork when you're building some type of business, especially when you don't have a clue what you're doing.
No, it is essential. And by the way, shout out to y'all team, by the way. Y'all are doing it, by the way.
Thank you.
But I would say this: I know my strengths, right? And just like any real boss or person in leadership will tell you, find the people who can complement the areas you're weak in, right? I'm not good at scheduling. When we first started, I would be the one scheduling. I would double book people, have people waiting outside, all that craziness, right? I bring my sister along. My sister is amazing at administrative work, organized. Did the whole, it was 360 overnight. My boy, Steve, photography. I can't, thank God for tripod, got the angles. When it comes down to certain things, like one of our goals, the kids, she brings her unique perspective on life to the podcast. Like, it's just a beautiful ensemble, you know, of people coming together to make something great. So I would say to anybody, you can do it your own, but I wouldn't advise you to.
Right.
Because once again, you know, even though it's different perspectives, different people with different viewpoints, that's what you need. You need that, I'm saying, conflicting interests, but you need someone or people around you to be able to tell you, this is their opinion, this is what they look at. They look at different things than you do. So I advise anybody to have a team. And don't never let egos get in the way of that, by the way. I know a lot of people will say, you know, egos and all that good stuff. No, don't do that.
You got a juicy story where somebody's ego got in the way, you guys like got into a conflict on set? Like, cause I know sometimes stuff like that goes down.
I would say this, I'm a humble person, right? But certain people would say, you know, people will reach out to us to be on a podcast and be like, you know, I gotta do it this date and this time and all this, like try to run the show. And it's like, madam or sir.
Right.
Whatever you identify as.
Right. So, but you know, for the most part, for the 98% of the time, everyone has been very cooperative, and a lot of people, they enjoy a good time. So that's a great thing about it. But it's Cleveland. Anyone else Cleveland?
Yeah, we know Cleveland.
Yeah. You know, sometimes people just feel like they.
But I definitely feel like even though it being Cleveland and we kind of get that stigma of us not helping, us not building, I think it's really good to have those type of podcasts where you're highlighting people, you know, highlighting successful people and then giving you tips to the trade to, you know, be successful.
Absolutely.
So I think that that's really great, and I like that you do highlight that.
Listen, that's really the point of it, because at the end of the day, I know me, I'm like a small, like to suck all the information. And one of our goals, and I hope someone's watching this, so you hear me, is that we want to get that to the schools. We literally want the kids to be able to see what's possible, because whether if you are on step 100 or step number 2, you are ahead of someone else, and your viewpoint on where you are in your journey can help somebody else out. So that's the goal. That was literally our goal. We want to get to the school, to the kids, but what we're finding out, whether you're 18 or 100, you're getting something from the podcast. We got someone talking about hair, we got somebody talking about how to start your own bakery. So it's I love it. God is good. I do this for, not to say for fun, but I'm making money now, but I would do it for free. So
yeah, definitely when you're doing something that you have a passion for, the money's gonna come.
Absolutely.
So when you like put in your hard work and passion towards something, like just keep putting in that work, and you know God gonna eventually bless you because you following your path. So for sure. So I heard you say you wanted to be able to like teach this.
Yes.
So you want to get in the school districts. You want to like, where do you see this going as far as, you know, the bigger picture? Because I know you started off with the podcast, but I know there's always like, okay, this is my dream where I want to take everything. What's that look like for you?
I'm glad you asked that. So as anyone knows, anyone who's seen the elevation of Earning Leisure, those brothers are doing it. And shout out to them. They showed us, they gave the blueprint, they showed us possible.
Right.
And my thing is, they're international. I'm not doing that international. I'm not. I want to be able to make Cleveland the hub that people see for what it is, a place where entrepreneurs can thrive. Exactly. And just keep on throwing great events. Literally showing the rest of the world that Cleveland is that place. Right. You know, where entrepreneurs can thrive, not just a place where people call it mistaken on like all those cliche things people say. You know? That's why we're better than that. And so whether it be through our events, we're gonna keep throwing great events. We got some things in the works, some stay tuned, that we want to put on and just keep on. If I can say, if I want to boil down what we do is to encourage, inform, and inspire somebody. If those three things with each podcast or each event we're doing to get bigger and better, I feel like we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. So I think that's it. And like I said, have fun on doing it too. That's like number one. Have fun though. If you're not having fun, there's no point in doing it. So.
Definitely.
It's weird because I'm like, it's funny because I'm usually the one asking the questions. I'm not the one usually getting the question asked. So like, this is hard. Like, even though this is the second time around, I'm like, this is really.
No, you're a natural. Especially because you can tell that you really have a passion for it. So it's the words are just gonna flow.
I appreciate it. I try.
Naturally.
Yeah, I try.
So, who is your dream person to interview on your podcast? So I just heard you dropped a couple of podcasts that you listen to, and I know I'm listening to podcasts all day. I think I listen to podcasts more than I watch TV or do anything. So I have like my dream set of people. Like if I could sit down with them, or if I could just like pick their brain. I know for me it's Jay Shetty. Like I watch his podcast and I love him, and I'm like, I just want to meet him. Like I just want to be in a room with him. He's all about like building yourself, like not only just like a mental and a physical aspect. So I really like him. So who is your dream person or your favorite podcaster? Who's like your dream interview?
That's a great question. So if I had to say dream person, if I had to pinpoint it, it's actually three people to be exact.
Okay.
Troy and Rashada are in Leisure.
Okay.
David Shands, and Donnie Wiggins are Southern Fruit. If I can get them, if we can get them here to Cleveland, that would be like it's on my wish list. It's on my like hit list. Like I don't know, your bucket list. Yeah. But like even when we started the podcast, we had like a list of people we want to get on the podcast, and and I will say we have gotten halfway through that joint.
So are you like putting those people on like your vision board? Like we about to get out to them. Okay. Just making sure you manifest it.
Yeah, and I hope you're watching David Shands. Check his Cleveland, man. But yeah, no.
And then who's that third person? You said like three people.
I'm sorry. So Troy and Rashada are in Leisure.
Right.
I'm sorry, and then David Shands, and now I'm meeting the fourth person, Donnie Wiggins.
Oh,
so that's 4 people now. My bad.
Okay.
But those, because they're really they gave the blueprint, and I will credit our podcast because they showed what's possible. We was like, man, if they can do it, we can do it too. So I want to be able to give them their flowers. You know what I'm saying? Because as we're elevating our podcast and it keeps growing, they keep showing us what's possible because they're doing it. So we just following their footsteps, man.
And just like you're following their footsteps, you're definitely opening the door for other people in Cleveland to see like this is possible. So what do you want your legacy to be for your podcast?
Oh wow, you gonna hit me with that one? That's crazy. You know what? You know what? And it's the honest truth. So this is how I think in my mind, and this is just me. Y'all see that Kanye West documentary?
I see everything with Kanye because he's my favorite person, and nobody better be doing no Kanye shots around me. That's just all I want to know because he's speaking that real stuff all the time. So I see anything with Kanye. So continue.
Listen, so that Genius documentary just showed me because even in that moment he knew he was going to be, son.
Yeah, he recorded everything because he knew he was a genius.
So that podcast, the podcast kind of my joint. So when we 20 years down the line, we doing the documentary. I wanted to be able to
see the growth.
See the growth, exactly. Show people where it started and where it came, and be able to show my kids like, Dad was
and this is possible.
It's possible, yeah. And this is the hard work. It paid off because we're here now, but this is what it took to get there. So that's legacy I want to put behind. Not just for my kids, but it's for all kids as a whole, to show them what a kid from Cleveland from 142 miles can do and what he's done and what you can do also. So if I can do that, God's good. So.
That's beautiful.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I never.
Inspirational.
This is so crazy because like I ask questions to people and I'm like, I never thought about myself until now. And it's like, oh, okay, you got me. But yeah, if we can do that, I will be so proud. I feel like we're there.
Yeah.
We're episode 120 as of right now.
That's great. So how long have you guys been podcasting?
It will be 2 years in July.
That's so good. And you're on 120. Okay, y'all consistent.
Yeah, no, listen. And if I can say that to anybody, stay consistent, because like, I remember we had no views, to now we average about 2,000 views per episode, roughly.
That's good.
And it's only growing. It's only growing. So like, once again, I would tell anybody, just stay consistent. Stay consistent.
That's crazy, because today in a seminar that I went to, they were talking about that, and it's just like, yeah, in the beginning you're gonna get numbers, and then it'll die down a little bit. But then that's not the time for you to stop and not do it. That's the time for you to keep going, and then the numbers will just rocket back.
Right. Keep growing, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I remember David Shannon said something about, he was saying something in one of the episodes. He was talking about his podcast didn't jump off till episode 300.
Wow.
300 episodes in is that one episode really skyrocketing him to like this mega level of like superstar and whatnot. So we're on episode 120. I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's keep it going. You know, because it'll be that one episode. Somebody gonna see it. The right person gonna see it. And gonna be like, oh yeah, we need them right there.
So how long into it where you saw that pivot of like 2 viewers to like 2,000? Like, when was that moment where you was like, dang, we came a long way for real?
Ooh, when did I see that? It was right after our 50th episode, because we could, so this is another thing I want to tell people, celebrate the milestones, the small victories, because small victories turn to big ones, right?
Right.
So we had this big celebration for episode 50, right? Right around episode 55, we had interviewed, who we interviewed? Forgive me, whoever it was. But I remember, I went to go on YouTube. I'm an analytics guy. Like, I look at my bill to see who's viewing it, what time, and you know, all that good stuff.
Right.
And I looked, I'm like,
what
happened? What? And I'm like, okay. And it came down, what it came down to was the time I posted it. But then once again, I was being more frequent in hashtags.
Right.
The show notes is the information that people look to before they even look at the interview. They look to see who's going to be on there, what's going to be in the episode. So it's being more intentional about how we post and what we posted with it. Really just took it to the next level, and that blueprint was what really helped it. So, yeah. So
That's awesome. That's crazy. How timing is a big thing when posting, consistency. The hashtags. Listen, I did not know that there was a website for hashtags.
Yep.
And then you just type in the word.
Everything.
Oh, yeah, hands down. Oh, we'll be here all night if I talk about all the different things. It was a lot.
We're gonna talk about that after this.
Okay.
Episode 3.
Yeah. And we got stuff coming for y'all, by the way, to talk about those things and help y'all on that, because like trial and error, because I remember
you did the hard work, so we can kind of cruise through it.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I'm over here like, I heard this, and what are we gonna say? But
yes, ma'am.
No, you're doing it.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward with working with you and helping our podcast out and just helping each other grow.
I can't wait to turn these on.
Being in this space. And do you have any closing remarks or something that you want the audience to know?
You are good. You are good. Like I like.
She's made for this.
I'm kind of a natural. You know.
But I'm just thinking in my head, because I'm like, I ask those questions, but I've never been to ask a question, because I was like, one of the things I say to her, I say, what are 3 things you want someone to get from your interview? Like the when you're talking, like how we are now.
Yeah, like the cliff notes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you get it.
Yeah, what's the cliff notes? What do you want us to know about the pull-up experience? What are your, closing remarks?
Closing remarks. If I had to say is a couple things: be consistent. To build a team. Don't think you do all by yourself. And I don't think I mentioned it, but I do want to mention it now, is that you don't need a lot. You can start with a little. You don't need a lot.
Right.
You don't need all, you know what I'm saying? You don't need to get the big studio. You can have in your living room and just have your iPhone when you get started, right? And then work your way. You don't have to, because I so many people will say, do I need a big camera? Do I need this? I need that. You don't. You just have the passion and a little here and there and work from there. And get the confidence and just build from there.
Right.
So and stay encouraged.
Yeah, definitely. But thank you for coming on for the
Thank
second
you,
time. I'm like, he is gonna kill us when I call him and tell him this audio is not working.